annoyed at Isak. Hello, I am the Irish guy. And right, today I'm going to grade every Premier League club's weirdest transfer of the summer. With an A+ being the height of weirdness, like watching Bugs Bunny have a baby with your mum, with an F just being more boring than a Mark Goldberg haircut. Sorry, Mark. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Alexander Zinchenko to Nottingham Forest C. Arsenal haven't sold that many weird players this summer. Nah, I mean, you didn't see Arteta give Ben White to a travelling circus on the west coast of Guam? No. But I do think that the Gunners letting Alexander Zinchenko leave for Nottingham Forest on loan at the final minute is a bit weird. Boy, did this former Man City left back get so quickly forgotten about in North London. Seeing him at Forest seems kinda strange on paper, right? But what really gives us the big C for weirdness is the fact that since joining them, he's been immediately left out of Nuno Santo's Europa League squad. That's weird. That is so weird considering Nuno tried to bring this guy to Wolves in 2018. He's had a crush on this blonde left back for 7 years now. And yeah, when it comes to picking his European squad, oh no. He's just happy to let him spend his Thursday nights eating chicken goujons with his cats. Weird. Aston Villa, Enzo Berenecchia to Benfica C+. I just don't understand the point of this for even a minute. Lads, Enzo Berenecchia is an Argentinian midfielder who Aston Villa bought from Juventus last summer, and they immediately loaned him out to Valencia. Cool. Surely this is the season he returns to Villa Park to finally make his debut, right? Oh no, instead he just thrown out to Benfica on loan. I would understand constant loan after loan if he was a raw kid. But no. He turns 25 this season, and yet Unai Emery has lured him to the town of Birmingham and then instantly ignored him for years. It's so weird. It's like asking someone out on a date, and then you spend the entire dinner picking your nose and watching SpongeBob on your phone. I'll give it a C+ for weirdness. Bournemouth, Philip Billing to FC Midtjylland C+. Maybe this shouldn't seem that insane that a Denmark international fielder is going back to Denmark. Maybe I shouldn't be reacting to this as if I've just seen an alien stealing toast from a fridge. No, but Philip Billing is only 29, and he was a huge £50 million blockbuster signing for Bournemouth from Huddersfield in 2019. I mean, he's someone who scored the second fastest goal in Premier League history away to Arsenal. He's not just some complete donut with the first touch of a shrimp. He's not just the cookie monster in a pair of football boots. He was a big player once upon a time. I mean, sure, he's clearly not Andoni Iraola's cup of tea. In fact, I think the Spaniard would sooner lick mashed potato off an escalator than give Billing a start. But hey, the guy's just won Serie A on loan at Napoli. He returns to the Cherries full of confidence, scores a wonder goal against Everton in pre-season. So I don't know, I think it's strange to see him just go to Midtjylland before he's even 30. Going from his Serie A title party bus parade in the city of Maradona to now relocating to the frozen lonely hills of Denmark. It's like seeing some young fella quitting a mad Ibiza holiday with his mates to go out and spoon with an Eskimo in a frozen lake instead. Brentford, Christian Norgard to Arsenal C+. You've sold your captain for barely £10 million. Look, it's a signing that makes sense for Arsenal's bench, but for Brentford, no, it's a transfer that not a single person would have ever predicted back in May, not even Norgard's mum. Why did they agree to sell him? He's only 31 and you're captain. And you replaced him with a Jordan Henderson, who's probably fast developing that old man smell. Seriously, I bet his morning breath smells like the inside of a chimney. Brighton, Facundo Buonanotte to Chelsea A. Brighton are the king of handing out weird destinations to their players this summer. Imagine being a fly on the wall in that Brighton office and seeing their chairman telling Julio Enciso is off to Chelsea, but not really. That Evan Ferguson is going to Roma. That Tarek Lamptey's off to Fiorentina. That Matt O'Reilly's off to Marseille. That one in particular stings of weirdness. But still, it's not the weirdest one. No, that one. Facundo Buonanotte to Chelsea. A talented 20-year-old attacking midfielder. But Fabian Herzler doesn't rate him. He was relegated on loan at Leicester, and he was on the cusp of a move to Leeds, where Chelsea swoop in with a £2 million loan deal and immediately leave him out of their Champions League squad. Buonanotte was probably delighted to be noticed by such a gigantic club at last. But oh no, Facundo, you're only there to give Todd Bowley his weird Brighton fix. Seriously, couldn't Bowley have just bought a seagull teddy bear from the Brighton club gift shop? Spoiling Buonanotte's career like this, with the mother of all weird loans to just splash him on the bench, it's weird. One of the weirdest deals in Premier League history. Burnley, Dara Costello to Wigan D. Okay, this one isn't weird at all. Chelsea, Ben Chilwell to Strasbourg B. What on earth has happened to Ben Chilwell? This is a Champions League winning left back, don't forget. Somebody who once cost Chelsea 50 million beans, had a £200,000 a week contract at Chelsea. One of the highest paid left backs in the game. And yeah, after being frozen out of Chelsea, after being denied a summer loan switch to Man United last summer, oh no, he's now being sold upstairs to Strasbourg. Look, I mean, I guess it'll be cool for him to try out French football, but it is sort of embarrassing that the only transfer he could wrangle was at the last minute just being spat out of Chelsea's feeder club, with the French team just being fed crumbs from the Chelsea table, which is a bit like your mom getting you a pity job in her flower shop. Oh, sounds a bit as exciting as drinking a plate of apple juice for dinner. But hey, at least Chilwell is going to get to play with Messi. No, not that Messi. Ryan Messi. Yeah, I told you it was weird. Also, lads, by the way, remember that unedited video I uploaded? It's got me thinking, what if I had a second channel where It is unedited. It could be quick videos reacting to news that's just breaking. Like, let me know. It'll just be a channel of rambling. Crystal Palace, Hudson-Odoi to Lens C. I'm just so gobsmacked. Just what on earth has happened to Hudson-Odoi's career? Don't forget, after being a Sunday goal machine, he had a brilliant Premier League start, scoring twice in 6 minutes for Crystal Palace against Spurs. Yeah, he's now 27, was frozen out of Palace, and even weirder than that, frozen out on loan at Leicester. Unless they were terrible. Maybe he spat in Ruvinus or his mum's face at the team barbecue. I don't know. But a return to Celtic to reunite with Brendan Rodgers would have made sense, right? No. Instead, they just signed the guy who Edouard replaced at Leicester last season. Kelechi Iheanacho from Sevilla, meaning Edouard back to France with Lens at a £2 million deal. It's kind of weird. Everton Mason Holgate to Al Jarafa A. Mason Holgate has become a Jamaican international centre-back who now plays for Al Jarafa in Qatar. I'm surprised anybody in the Qatar Stars League even knew who he was. I thought outside of England, and I guess Jamaica, he'd be about as famous as your dog's toothbrush. Fulham, Willian to Gremio C. Wasn't Willian chased out of Brazil the last time he was there? This is like Luis Suarez getting a job as a tennis coach at a Uruguayan club med. Leeds, Sam Greenwood to Pogan Chkshin B. Here's a really strange one. Sam Greenwood is 23 years old, but he former England under-17 goal machine. Seriously, 12 goals in 15 matches back in 2018. Was on the books of Arsenal, don't forget. I'm guessing Gareth Southgate is absolutely monitoring him with all the intensity of a staring contest between James Gordon and a double cheeseburger. Yeah, he moved to Leeds in 2020, scored his first Premier League goal in 2022, and at 23 has opted to move to Poland, joining Pogon Chukchin for £2 million, becoming the most expensive player in that club's history. Oh, I absolutely guarantee you this Sunderland boy still can't pronounce the name of the team he just joined. Seriously, because even me trying to pronounce this pesky club, it's like trying to sing a Beyonce song whilst chewing a mouthful of bread. Liverpool, Tyler Morton to Leon B. I'm sorry, what? I thought it was insane how Ben Doak garnered a £30 million switch to Bournemouth after doing nothing in the game. But here we have Olympique Lyon, fresh from escaping League 2 after they were relegated for about 20 minutes, but they chose to celebrate by buying defensive midfielder Tyler Morton for £15 million. I mean, he's not a kid, by the way. He turns 23 next month, and it's only ever impressed in the championship for Blackburn and Hull. He's probably Thomas Tuchel's 47th pick in the England midfield. So to see someone that far down the pecking order still get noticed by a club who, you know, won 7 League One titles in a row when I was a kid. Seriously, they were the 2000s answer to PSG. So seeing Morton at Lyon is like seeing the nerd you sat beside in maths class now boxing Simon Cowell on the zone. It's odd. Really odd. Man City, Ederson to Fenerbahce A. I just don't get it at all. I understood when Ederson was tempted by the riches of the Saudi Pro League 2 summers ago, just after he'd completed football with the treble. It made sense for him to develop greedy little eyeballs back then, yes. But now, for Man City to just accept just £10 million for one of the greatest goalies in the Premier League era, someone who I think is the best ball distributor goalkeeper of all time. And what's even weird is how Ederson is happy to leave the Premier League for Turkish football at 32. Lads, I am relieved Jose Mourinho left Fenerbahce because I thought he was wasting his time there. But for Ederson to swan up there when he spent the last 2 months practically blowing kisses to the most hated rivals, Galatasaray, it's strange. Seriously, this guy had his heart set on the move to Galatasaray for months and months, and yet now you're choosing to join their enemy instead. Man United, Jadon Sancho, Aston Villa B. Look, it's not the most freaky deaky transfer in the list, but it just feels like the Man United outcasts have got their moves mixed up, because it would look far more aesthetically normal if Sancho was at Chelsea now and Garnacho was at Aston Villa. Right? Considering Garnacho literally just scored for Chelsea in a European final. And oh yeah, Garnacho took a photo of himself in an actual Villa shirt. It would have been far more normal for the Blues to take Sancho back, instead of paying Man United £5 million to take him back, and then for Villa to stop up Garnacho. No! But look, this move shouldn't look too weird, I guess, because it is all Villa's fault. Because Roma wanted Sancho. He said no. Villa happily gave them Leon Bailey instead, and then realised, oh wait, nah, we need to replace him actually. And so got Sancho. So I guess it's not that weird on paper, but if you went back to 2020, when Sancho was the hottest young talent in the world and was apparently worth £100 million at one point, tell anyone that he'd be at Aston Villa in 5 years' time, a club who back then were one VAR malfunction away from getting relegated, then this would have looked absolutely insane. This is a picture you'd have never dreamed would happen 5 years later. Well, yeah, I'm still just confused why this summer Villa didn't bring either Grealish or Douglas Luiz back. Newcastle, Alexander Isak to Liverpool. A. Why would you give in and give Isak what he wants? I'm not over. Okay, no, the market value was £150 million. When he came out with that stupid Instagram post a week before the window slam shut, before the club responded to him within minutes, telling him he was welcome to rejoin the team after he was done with his tantrum, I fully believe that yes, he dug his own grave, that the club will now make an example out of it. But you can't behave like a brat to force your way out of this club. Not this club, not Newcastle United, no! Chained to the under-21s corner flag for 6 months. I was relishing the minute that the window would slammed shut because Liverpool never had any intention of paying the £150 million transfer fee. Good. The Magpies even said in their statement they did not foresee those conditions being met. Great. My hopes were literally sky high that he was going nowhere. Nah, he did go somewhere. Right into the arms of Liverpool. The club already stole a Katike 6 weeks ago. Doesn't that just make you angry? Doesn't that just make your head feel like popping like a pumpkin in space? Nottingham Forest Matt Turner to Leon A. Here's a question for the USA supporters. Ahead of the proud World Cup next summer on your home soil, how frustrating and worrying has it been for you that your undisputed #1 goalkeeper, Matt Turner, over the last 3 years has been passed around like a lollipop? Since leaving New England Revolution, Turner has passed through Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, and he's now joined Lyon for less than £7 million, and immediately been loaned to New England Revolution. I mean, it is good that the 31-year-old goalkeeper is getting regular football back in the MLS, but why not just go straight from Forest to them? Why did you have to join Leon first? You don't even need to start learning French, buddy. You're never going to play a single match for them. Don't worry about trying to Google what a croissant tastes like. Doesn't matter. You're never going to be needed at Leon. It's just so bizarre. Sunderland, Joe Bellingham to Borussia Dortmund B. I thought this was weird when this one happened. When Joe Bellingham helped Sunderland get promoted, sure, he had Bundesliga interest. But when he turned down and switched to Eintracht Frankfurt, I thought that unlike his big bro, he actually wants to cut his teeth a match of the day. And now he's done exactly what Joe did. Joins Borussia Dortmund for £25 million. Tottenham, Son Heung-min to LAFC B. Look, it makes sense for Son Heung-min to leave Spurs now. At 33, after 10 years at the club, and he just captained them to their first trophy in 17 years. Oh yeah, and his final appearance for Spurs was in South Korea, so it is very fitting to leave. No problem with that. But I thought he'd get another European move. Moving to LAFC in the MLS, I don't know. I think it looks a little strange. West Ham, Kurt Zouma to CFR Cluj A. Yeah, remember him? Kurt Zouma's standing in the game has never been the same since he showed that he clearly takes Tom and Jerry way too seriously after briefly being West Ham captain and was on £125,000 a week wages. Oh no, he's just been released and has gone to CFR Cluj in Romania. Does everyone cancel go to live there? He's only 32. Please don't let him near a cat. Wolves, Fabio Silva, Borussia Dortmund A+. To me, this is the most bonkers one on the list. Borussia Dortmund have had so many insane strikers on their books over the years, and yet here they are signing an absolute Wolverhampton Wanderers flop, Fabio Silva. Seriously, when he failed on loan at Rangers, I fully thought we were looking at the Portuguese Ryan Brewster, a man whose career was in free fall. I mean, he went to Las Palmas in Spain to play front with Ollie McBurney on loan. This guy was a wretched £35 million deal in 2020 for Wolves. Arguably the worst transfer in the history of that club. And yet he absolutely has been saved by a move to Dortmund for €20 million. I am gobsmacked. I mean, if he rips it up in this Bundesliga platform, he could realistically go to the next World Cup with Portugal. It is an astonishing turnaround for someone who I always thought looks suspiciously like that guy who likes the number 7 and, I don't know, knitting jumpers made out of vegan cats. You know who I mean. Oh, it's a bit cold in here. Alfie! Ah. God, I needed a good sneeze. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments what do you think. Let me know in the comments what's the weirdest one. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in a while.